Alrighty, everybody. Hopefully, everyone is having a great Sunday. I think it is so far. And welcome everyone to another live stream. Let's see who is in the chat so far today. We have Cody, we have Sam, as well as Pete, Capybara, Bond, Logan, Mark, and everyone else who's in the stream who I may have forgotten to welcome, or if you're just now tuning in, welcome Caleb, and let's see, Tornadic Rebel as well. Glad to have you guys all in here for another stream. Let's go ahead and dive right on into it. I'll just double check a few things real quick. We should be good to go. Yep, we are good to go. So we're starting with actually a destructive severe. I wanted to start a little bit early as this is going into downtown Springfield here. Was supposed to be just a briefing, so we'll kind of switch between briefings and also covering this, but at the moment we'll stick with this particularly dangerous severe thunderstorm warning that is about to go over Springfield, Missouri. It is also a EDS severe. So this is also an extremely dangerous severe due to it being observed 80-mile-an-hour winds moving into a populated city. So be in your safe spot. Highly recommend you be in your safe spot. If you're anywhere in the city of Springfield in southwest Missouri, treat this as if it were a tornado warning because this could actually have tornadic-like and hurricane-like wind speeds there. So we could have tornado/hurricane-like wind speeds about to move into the city of Springfield. We're talking 80 to 90 mile-an-hour winds currently over the I-44 corridor just to the west of downtown Springfield in southwest Missouri. I would not be surprised if we lose our radar site with this. This has been a very intense MCS for about the last hour or so. Ever since it hit Greenfield with 80 to 85 mile-an-hour winds, it's just continued to push off to the southeast and continued to intensify all the way up until where it is right now, directly over the radar site. So just make sure you are in your safe spot if you're in Springfield. They're continuing that 80 mile per hour observed EDS, PDS severe, both EDS and PDS. They've added a TOR possible tag now, so newly addition to that, they've added a tornado possible tag to this storm. And kind of right where those winds are. Right where the inflow is with that 80 to 90 mile-an-hour winds, there's a chance we could get some outbound winds that help to increase the potential for some spin in the atmosphere right on the edge of the thunderstorm. And if that happens, we could see a tornado very close to Springfield over the next couple of minutes here as this storm goes into Springfield, Missouri. So just be in your safe spot. We'll continue to monitor this as it pushes through. And this severe storm goes for the next 32 minutes. So it is quite the long duration severe thunderstorm warning. Let me go real quick whilst we wait for a new scan. That's your newest scan right there. Can't really say too much about it because it's directly over the radar site. But let's just switch over real quick. This is our SPC outlook for today. We've got two different large slight risks for severe weather. My voice is not wanting to speak today. Two different large slight risks for severe weather. One mainly across Colorado, Wyoming into Nebraska, and then the other one back out there into Wisconsin and Iowa. This slight risk back out here in Nebraska, Kansas, not too sure exactly how it's going to perform, so we'll just need to watch that. It's mainly a late evening time frame, so we're looking at probably after 7, 8 o'clock for that main event to kick off. They have added a 2% tornado risk. We were beneath a 2% for today. They've added two different 2% tornado risks for today. Colorado, Nebraska, Kansas, the potential for a discrete supercell or two to push through the area. Later on tonight, fast-moving tornadoes will be possible. If we do see any tornadoes occur, it will be a fast-moving tornado due to the storm motion. Storm motion, not very favorable. We're looking at southeast storm motion. That is not very favorable for tornadoes. Tornadoes, of course, can still happen with a storm motion off to the southeast, but with limited lower level wind shear, a not so favorable storm mode, a lack of dew points, personally, I see it very fast moving hailstones But we could see a brief tornado, and if that tornado lasts 2 to 5 minutes, and we have storms moving at 70 miles an hour, that's going to easily be quite a longer, not long tracked, but a longer tracked tornado compared to if the storm mode was more of like 30 to 40 mile an hour motion to the southeast. We're looking at closer to probably 60 to 70 with these storms in Nebraska and Kansas. Damaging winds, they have added a hatched risk. I actually didn't know that till just now. I'm not going to lie. They just added that at the 4 o'clock update. They did add a hatched risk out here because those storms are going to be moving so fast. So they're going to be able to produce stronger outflow winds. And if they do congeal up into a line, which it is possible that we see a line move in after these supercells push through, then we could see damaging winds potentially exceeding their 70, 75 miles per hour. But that supercell threat about fast-moving supercells, that's definitely very uncertain. I'm quite shocked to see them add that 2%, because it's only been a few HRRR runs. The newest HRRR has some pretty quick-moving supercells in South Dakota, but they're in a very elevated environment. So I really don't know, to be honest with you, why they added that 2%. Hail risk, still a large 15% there. But that tornado risk, personally, I don't see much coming out of it. If we can see a supercell in front of that main MCS, like I said, later on tonight towards like 10, 11 o'clock, maybe we could see a brief fast-moving tornado. But if we don't see that, I really don't see anything tornadic happening for this risk area. So if you're in this area, long story short, damaging winds, keep an eye on it. 60, 70 mile an hour winds will be a very real possibility if you live anywhere in this green area here. That's where our risk is the highest. There's that hatched hail risk or hatched wind risk. Matter of fact, yeah, hatched wind risk there. If you're in that black hatched area, stay hyper weather aware. You're looking at 70 mile an hour winds late tonight. I can't speak today. Gracious. 70 mile an hour winds tonight in northwest Kansas, southwest Nebraska, eastern Colorado. We could also see a spin up tornado, but in my opinion, that tornado threat is so low. And we could also see a hailstone near an inch and a half in diameter. The main hail threat will be further off to the west than this area in here. I want to go back for that new radar scan in Missouri. That doesn't exist. Okay, let's go to GR2. All right, looks like we may have a radar down. Unless we have 7-minute scans, there's a chance. Actually, we do have 5 to 7 minute scans. Never mind. I don't think our radar's down. I think it's just very slowly updating. I don't think it's down. It's just not updating every 2 to 3 minutes like we normally see. It's closer to 7 minutes for each scan there. All right, but back over to our outlook for today. Tornado threat. Again, can't English. Gracious. Tornado threat in southeast Kansas, northeastern Oklahoma, southwest Missouri, northwest Arkansas was just added at the 4 o'clock update. Could see a brief tornado here as well. This will be with more of clustered, messy storms that fire later on tonight. Looks like those should get going towards about 11 o'clock, maybe 10 Eastern time. I don't expect them to do much. I think mainly some wind gusts of 60, 70 miles per hour, some small hail, maybe 1 inch in diameter, and then a brief tornado can't be fully ruled out, but I really don't see the tornado threat being much at all today. Yeah, I'm looking at those storms. It seems like we are currently seeing uptrends for those storms in northwest Kansas, but I don't see an environment in this area favorable for tornadoes. Like, I could see 70 mile an hour winds, a gust up to 80, so definitely a good idea to add that 15% wind risk. But in terms of the tornado threat, I'm not seeing it really. Man, yeah, we could actually get a gust as high as 90 with this. Looking at a model run here, what's those winds? Let's see, that is about 76 knots to MPH. Yeah, so that's like 86, 87 mile an hour winds portrayed by the HRRR in this area tonight towards midnight. So we could actually get a gust upwards of like 80 to 90 with these storms in northwest Kansas. It's actively uptrending for damaging wind potential there. But again, tornado threat, I really just don't see much, to be honest with you. I don't see much of a tornado threat there in northwest Kansas. Springfield, make sure you're in your safe spot. Newest radar update, finally. 7 minutes, literally been 7 minutes since our last update. And you can see we do have those wind gusts approaching, what is that, 70 to 80? Yep. Velocities indicating 70 to 80 mile an hour winds there going over the southwest side of Springfield, Missouri. So very dangerous, damaging winds. And that should spread even into more of Springfield here over the next couple of minutes. So just if you are in this area, be in your safe spot, be away from doors and windows. This should be a quite rough damaging wind threat here. Also a significant severe for 70 mile an hour winds back out here in southwest Missouri too. For Branson and surrounding areas, be away from doors and windows in that area southwest of Springfield. Now, this did pop up really out of nowhere. We could be looking at a long-lived MCS here. Definitely not thinking derecho, but we could see a long-lived MCS to where we are dealing with this until the sun sets, maybe even after that. I mean, these storms really shouldn't die until 9, 10 o'clock as they move into far north central or even into central Arkansas. This could track as far as Little Rock staying severe, so... just a heads up there for anybody downstream. This should be a long-lived MCS. It's fired in a pretty good environment. Actually, a really good environment. We're talking about upwards of 4,000 instability in this area. So really good environment for damaging winds up to 90 miles per hour. It looks like damaging winds is going to be quite the issue today. Could see 80 to 90 mile an hour winds there in northwest Kansas. Could see 80 to 90 mile an hour winds here in southwest Missouri into north central Arkansas. The storms in northwest Kansas, just to give you a timing on that, the threat really begins to ramp up at 11 o'clock. So when this storm dies in north central Kansas, or rather north central Arkansas, when this dies in north central Arkansas, the storms in northwest Kansas will begin to intensify. So Kansas, big time nocturnal wind threat there in western Kansas, eastern Colorado. And then here in north central Arkansas, it's going to be more of a daytime threat towards when the sun sets. It's hard to say how long this will last. Let's see. The HRRR has this lasting till like near Clinton. And then it dies off near about 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock Eastern time. How many miles is that? That's not too far. I'd say probably near 100. So when severe, from where it is right now, that's about 120 miles. About 120 miles. So nowhere near derecho criteria. And then the storms out here in Colorado, that's probably going to track through like this area here. So that's probably going to track about 150, 200 miles. It's barely going to be even half of a derecho criteria. Crazy winds still moving through the southwest side of Springfield. Very crazy radar signatures. We'll see if anything else increases on the northwest side of Springfield as this storm pushes away from our radar site. But big time damaging winds there. I would still say 80 to possibly as high as 90 mile an hour winds moving through Brookline, Battlefield, Springfield area. Let me see. I really don't see any discrete storms happening there tonight, Sam. If they can fire, which I just don't see it happening, we could see a tornado. And then maybe with the MCS, we could see a spin-up tornado, but the MCS should not have a favorable environment for tornadoes. So, yeah, there's a 2% there just in case. A 2% is still a low chance. So, it's not like they significantly upped the probabilities or something. They just barely increased it. What can I expect tonight? I really don't see much happening out there. I think the main threat will be in southern Kansas, like around your neck of the woods here, if I just show you. So that yellow area is the slight risk area. And this portion of the slight risk area is already seeing storms, if not actively seeing storms. And this area of our slight risk is going to see storms tonight. And I don't think these storms will do much. I think there will be a quick period of an hour or two where they're severe on the border of Kansas and Oklahoma, but I don't expect it to be anything crazy. By the time it gets to you, really, it shouldn't be much more than maybe light to moderate rain, but most of our models don't have it surviving all the way until your neck of the woods. All right, let's go back to our radar site here. Man, let me go to radar Omega and see if that MEDAR. We have a MEDAR out here, possibly. Yeah, we have one over the airport. 63 mile an hour wind gust. That was recorded 10 minutes ago, so that was actually... That was before... That was recorded at 5:46. Yeah, that was probably right as the storm was passing overhead, so you're definitely looking at wind gusts of at least 60 miles per hour, but easily there could be a gust of 80 moving through southern Springfield right now. I mean, that is some very intense velocities. The velocities are saying like 90 to 100 mile an hour winds, but a lot of that's probably corruption. There's even a pixel of 111 mile per hour winds, and I don't believe that. But you definitely could be seeing 70, 80 mile an hour winds in this area. And this storm has been so long-lived, so I wouldn't be shocked if it's produced 90 at some point in its lifespan here. Really would not surprise me at all. Yeah, yesterday was insane. I was very busy last night, so I really couldn't stream at all. I would have gone live, but I just had a lot of stuff I had to do, and then today I had a lot of stuff to do as well. Like I said, I would be busy towards the end of June, and here's the end of June, so I was really busy yesterday. Couldn't cover either one of those threats in South Dakota. And then going into early July, I'll also be busy. I'll talk about the tropical stuff here in just a bit, but I want to stay with this storm going through Springfield for a little longer. I'm going to stay with this storm going through Springfield. So Springfield, still stay in your safe spot. These yellow velocities, that's winds of greater than 60 miles per hour. And you can see those yellow velocities actually stretch all the way further into, like, eventually going to go into Highlandville over the next about 10 minutes or so. But these darker yellow velocities here, even getting into the brown, that's where you're looking at 90, upwards of 90 mile an hour velocities. And I think some of that is corrupted because we're so close to the radar site. That's another thing to note, is we're so close to the radar site, so these velocities, all these yellow velocities here, we have a huge patch of 60 to 80 mile an hour velocities, and we're so close to the radar site, we're only looking 100, maybe 150 feet up into the atmosphere, so it is very easy that these velocities of 80 to 90 mile per hour winds are actually making it to the surface. If we were like, 1,000, 2,000 feet away, that would be a different scenario, but we're literally just about 100 to 100 feet up into the air here. And I mean, you can see how long this has been producing these velocities. This is 80 mile an hour velocities that hit Greenfield about an hour ago. Almost, actually, exactly an hour ago. And then those increased into 90 mile an hour velocities. And then some of the velocities got as high as 95 miles per hour, but we were still looking about 500 feet up into the air. And then as this got very close to the radar, obviously, right as it went over the radar site, it looked like it weakened, but actually it was over the cone of silence. which is about a 2-mile radius within the radar site. And now those velocities are just as high as what they once were. Still easily able to pick out widespread 70 to 80 mile an hour winds here. I'm not seeing any crazy velocities anymore. I don't see any velocities up to 90 at this point, so hopefully it is weakening quite a bit. I do think it's going to continue to weaken. I think the peak intensity of this MCS is probably right now, but it could stay severe all the way into as far as Little Rock, Arkansas. It's just our main instability of greater than 3,000 Cape is going to be in place for the next at least hour or two. So we could still see up to 80 mile an hour wind gust for about the next hour or so as this moves off to the southeast. Still be in your safe spot if you're in Springfield. Likely very, very heavy rain. There may even be some extremely small hail. It's warned for 0.75 inch hail. Wouldn't surprise me if we have right around that falling over Springfield. So just stay indoors, away from doors and windows, and really, like I said, if you're in this warning, treat it like a tornado warning. Wherever you would go during a tornado warning, that's where you should be. If you're inside this orange polygon. That orange polygon is a destructive severe, and it is still an EDS severe, meaning an extremely dangerous situation. Severe thunderstorm warning. We'll see if they expand this further. They might continue that 80 mile per hour severe, but much of these velocities on that newest frame, much of them have weakened down to about 70 mile an hour winds. Southeast Wyoming? What? Yeah, I'm in Wyoming. Does I'm pretty sure that's Wyoming. Oh, Northeast Wyoming. I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure that abbreviation is Wyoming. I'm not going crazy here. I mean, that's so far, dude. It could easily be corruption. Not to mention you're scanning through so much precipitation. That easily could be corruption. But we'll... I would say I'd keep an eye on it, but I'm probably gonna just end up tracking that storm in Springfield. I mean, I'll try to remember to come back and check this. But that is a little area of rotation we'll keep an eye on. I just feel like it might be some side lobe or just overall. Yeah, and it's gone. And it's gone. Let's go back over to GR2. And there's that 63 mile an hour wind gust going right into Springfield. That went right over. I believe that's an airport, and I think the National Weather Service is like right next to that airport. Yeah, they are. So that that wind gust was probably measured by yep, it was measured by that MEDAR, part of the airport. Not a MEDAR from the NWS. That's actually from the airport there. I still think this is producing 70 to maybe 80 mile an hour winds, but I feel like it's starting to weaken a bit more. You know, we're not seeing nearly as much of the 80 to 90 mile an hour velocities. Not nearly as much of those high-end velocities as what we were seeing once it was over and also before Springfield. Alright, I'll switch back over to that. So, again, just going to keep an eye on this storm. Still stay in your safe spot if you're in Springfield. You're almost good. I would wait until that warning is fully removed from Springfield. And even when it is removed, I would still recommend staying away from doors and windows due to all that lightning. They are continuing a radar indicated, so it's no longer observed, but it is a radar indicated destructive 80-mile-an-hour severe. So still 80-mile-per-hour winds will be possible as this little pocket here, actually quite large pocket of 70-plus mile-an-hour wind gusts continues to push through the southern side of Springfield and moving out of Springfield, Missouri. That's going to move very close to Seymour, Diggins, and Fordland, and Mansfield as well. Probably going to be closer to the southern side of that severe warning, so Bradleyville, Ava, Sparta, that's where these main wind gusts should go. I was saying that these 80-mile-an-hour wind gusts may continue for like the next hour or two. They actually might be stopping very soon, like within the next 30 minutes. Oh, I don't know. Where this is moving right now it's on the edge of the best instability. So it's not in the most favorable environment for severe weather, but as it moves more southeast, there's actually greater instability, as high as 5,200 instability surface-based cape as this moves into Arkansas. So we'll have to see, because this could it's kind of 50-50. I'm kind of 50-50 on how long this might survive. At least continuing to produce these 70 to 80 mile an hour wind gusts. So yeah, if you are in Springfield, you're good to come out of your safe spot. I mean, the main wind gusts are past, but still, please stay away from doors and windows. The main storm has passed, but just don't go outside and stay away from doors and windows, because there's still a lot of lightning. There still could be some, 30 mile an hour wind gusts behind this, as the little jet comes in behind it. The outflow from this wind pushes in behind it. Could get some very weak wind gust. There isn't no like rear end flow jet or anything absurd like that. There's no wake low like what we saw in South Dakota almost 2 weeks ago. That was on the 20th, 9 days ago, I believe. It's nothing like that. But you still could have some 10 to 30 mile an hour wind gusts behind this storm, because you have a bunch of winds. That's how it gets this bowing structure. You have a bunch of winds that are pushing behind it. It has a lot of winds pushing behind it. That pushes all the main damaging winds up to the front of the storm, obviously starts to bow it out. And because it starts to bow out, that increases the wind threat, as long as it's still a relatively confined bowing segment there, with like a derecho or an MCS. After so long, you'll see those winds push it so far out to the point that it actually splits up the MCS or derecho. That's going to happen to this too. Towards about 10 o'clock Eastern, about 3 to 4 hours from now, you'll see it splits it so large that it actually weakens the wind field. So at this moment, though, it's still in its really good lifespan here. It's still pretty strong. It's really just getting going and starting to produce those a bit more widespread 60 to 70 mile an hour wind gusts, some isolated gusts near 80 miles per hour. So just, like I said, just don't go outside if you're behind this storm still. Even though Springfield's in the clear in terms of 80 mile an hour wind gusts, again, still could have some gusty winds behind it due to that outflow. The outflow winds behind this storm. Also, speaking of outflow winds, there's a outflow boundary right in here. That's produced from your 80 mile an hour wind gust that went through Springfield just a couple minutes ago. And that outflow boundary is probably also carrying 10 to 20 mile an hour wind gusts with it. It's also known as a gust front. But the main winds will actually be behind that outflow boundary. And another thing that this is going to do is this is going to keep any tornado potential very low. So all these storms here, this is all going to stay very, very outflow dominant, where you just continue to have these outbound winds pushing along it, helping to bow it out. So the tornado threat with this southern side of your MCS is near zero. It is a very low tornado risk with this moving off to the southeast. Now, there is a bit of a better chance for a tornado threat on this one. That's why we have the Tor Possible tag on this northern one, because that's not behind the outflow boundary. This is the storm that produced the outflow boundary. So there's still a chance we could see a spin-up tornado on this portion of our MCS as it goes towards near Seymour, Diggins, Fordland, or Bradleyville. But that southern one is fully outflow dominant. Don't worry about a tornado threat there. Reedsville, or rather Reed Spring. Sorry. There's a lot of Reedsville, so I just read that as Reedsville. That's Reed's Spring, Branson, Cassville, Emerald Beach. Just all be indoors, away from doors and windows. Just know that your tornado threat is very low. It's mainly wind, and a lot of wind. So just be away from doors and windows. Now, Seymour, Mansfield, Diggins, Fordland, Bradleyville, Southwest Missouri. I would recommend you guys get to your safe spot. It does look like this is weakened a bit, but you could still see a large patch here of velocities of 60 to 70 mile an hour wind gusts. I'm not too sure if we're hitting... We could still be hitting 80 mile an hour winds, but this is what it looked like as it approached Springfield. This is velocities of 90 miles per hour that went through all the way from Everton all the way down into Springfield. And as it left Springfield, it looked like those velocities weakened substantially. So hopefully those winds are a little bit weaker than what this warning's for, which is up to 80 mile an hour winds. Yeah, definitely going to be getting some damage reports around Springfield over the next, couple minutes, upwards of an hour. Probably going to keep seeing some damaging wind reports out of there. But again, the only tornado threat here that I'm worried about is on the northern side of our storm, and there's no good velocities. I don't believe we have any tornado imminent. I don't think there's anything like that. It's mainly wind and very, very small hail. I do want to go back to check Wyoming here. Yeah, all these storms are remaining elevated. And I feel like if we get any prefrontals out here in Kansas, where that 2% tornado risk is, I feel like if we get any prefrontals there, any fast-moving prefrontals like I was talking about earlier, I feel like they would still be elevated. And if that tornado risk is mainly for the MCS tonight, which will be closer to 11 o'clock Eastern time, then still, I mean, I don't see much of a tornado risk in this area. The wind gust risk, though, looks kind of crazy. Looks like we could see a very intense MCS in this area. Temperature 2-point spread. I mean, it's got to be 30 out here. Yep. You're looking at 31. It is 31 for a temperature degree dew point spread. So, again, if we do see any prefrontals, I don't see a way how they're not going to be elevated. And very elevated at that. All right, we'll keep watching that storm move into the southeast. I do want to just go over tomorrow's risk as well. We have a very large marginal risk for severe storms across portions of the central and eastern U.S. Not really looking at much. Now, we probably will see a slight risk introduced at day one. Very easily could just see the random MCS pop up. I feel like the best chance for that would be across Illinois. So I wouldn't be surprised if we get a slight risk either from the two areas I'm looking at. I'm thinking either Illinois or right along this small marginal back out here in Oklahoma and Texas. I think that is the best chance for a slight risk tomorrow, either one of those areas. The Mid-Atlantic, I don't really see anything notable for an upgrade being needed for tomorrow. But however, going into Tuesday, we do have a slight risk for severe storms across Pennsylvania, Virginia, Delaware, and New Jersey. Another wind bag, another damaging wind threat across the East Coast like we had the other week. And this looks very, very widespread. I mean, this looks like a really widespread event where we could see much of this area could see 60 to 70 mile an hour winds. And I think we could even get a gust as high as 80. I would not be shocked if they upgrade a huge chunk of this marginal to a slight risk by the time we get to day one. And then I wouldn't be surprised with a 30% wind, probably right around the DC area where we have that slight risk. Could see an enhanced risk by day one. We'll have to wait until we get closer to figure out instability. Instability is the biggest question mark. How much cape will we have? The more cape we have, the better chance for damaging winds. Right now, it looks like we'll have about 2,000 cape. If we have anything more than that, closer to 3 to 4K cape, we could very easily see an enhanced risk introduced for Tuesday. Want to go back to southwest Missouri again. Again, really those velocities look significantly weaker, but still could be seeing 60, 70 mile an hour wind gusts there. Wouldn't rule out a very isolated gust as high as 80. But I think that 80 mile per hour wind threat is decreasing. Still warned for 80 mile an hour winds, though. So Springfield, still, if you're in Springfield, just be away from doors and windows. Don't go outside. There's still lightning around the area. There's still very heavy rain. And there is still some, there's still probably some lingering wind gust of 10 to 20 miles per hour behind this. You have been removed from that severe, though, so you don't have to be in your safe spot. Just don't go outside. There's probably some very marginal wind gusts behind this. Not enough to be damaging wind gusts, nothing near, nothing more than probably 20 to, I really wouldn't say much more than 20 mile an hour wind gusts with this, but just be aware of that. Because it could catch you off guard. You think you're fully done with the winds, and then there's a little gust of 15 to 20 mile an hour winds that catches you off guard. So just be careful. Like I said, a lot of lightning still in the area, so just probably don't want to go outside there. But the main winds are now moving off into southeast of Springfield. It looks like our main kind of pocket of wind gust is right in here. That's where your main pocket of wind gust is, and that's right over Highlandville, going into just to the northeast of Reeds Spring, and that's eventually going to go towards Bradleyville, Garrison. That's our best chance at seeing 70 to upwards of 80 mile an hour wind gust is right here with this little pocket of wind gust moving off to the southeast like that. So we'll continue to monitor that closely. Again, Springfield, you're almost in the clear. Just give it a couple more minutes. Once that lightning moves out the area, you're probably good. I don't know how the jet behind this is interacting. Sometimes, we've seen as high as 110 mile an hour wind gusts with the jet stream behind our MCS. And sometimes we have as little as absolutely no wind gusts. So it's hard to say exactly what wind speeds are happening behind this line, but just either way, still plenty of lightning. There's a bunch of lightning still around Springfield, so just be very, very careful. Preferably don't go outside. But yeah, if you guys are enjoying the live stream, make sure you hit that like button. Help us get to 100 likes. Also, if you are new to the channel, consider hitting that subscribe button with a notification bell set to all. It's greatly appreciated to help us get up to 10,000 subscribers. We're climbing. We're getting there. And I appreciate the support already in today's live stream. We're going to keep on covering for a while longer. And we will get into the tropics in a bit. But I don't want to switch to the tropics until we lose this destructive severe in 40 or so minutes. A high pressure typically keeps the wind shear more north, but actually it is very common to see severe storms under a high pressure. You think high pressure, no rain, no instability, very hot temperatures, but we've seen it here in Virginia for the last like 6, 7 days. We've been very close to, if not under, a marginal risk for severe weather. And almost out of all those days, we've seen a lot of heavy rain and thunder around my neck of the woods. So, not necessarily, a high pressure doesn't necessarily mean no severe weather or keeping storms north. But yeah, it does mean keeping like wind shear, and your tornado activity typically does go more north in June and July. This pattern that we've been in for the last 3 weeks or so, ever since like after June 5th, I think it was like right around towards June 5th, we started to see that high pressure build, and it didn't get crazy until mid-June, but right around June 5th it started. And this has definitely been one of the most intense death ridges that we've seen. One of the most intense high pressure ridges we've seen in the southeast US. Probably, I mean, shoot, it's probably been at least, I'd say probably near 9 years or so. We've broken some records. We've absolutely shattered. Some areas have gotten all-time highs for June out here in Virginia, North Carolina, especially in Pennsylvania. But not only for temperatures, but also for severe weather. I mean, I think this has been our most active June, probably this decade so far, in my opinion. There's a chance maybe like 2022 was more active, but I think this has been the most active June out of our whole decade so far. I mean, it's been wild, especially for North and South Dakota. I mean, we've had about three. There's been about three violent tornadoes in North and South Dakota over the last week. Over the last 2 weeks, rather. We've had about 2 or 3 violent tornadoes in North and South Dakota in the last 2 weeks. But thankfully, there's not a lot of population out there, so we haven't had any of them rated EF4. You know, our violent wind speeds with our tornadoes recently in North Dakota, South Dakota, most of them haven't impacted homes and sturdy homes to be rated as such. But the ground scouring we saw out of yesterday's tornado and the tree damage was crazy. I don't know if any homes were hit. I wasn't tracking it, properly, so I'm not sure if we had anybody injured from yesterday's tornado. North Dakota, South Dakota aren't highly populated, but there is still population there, so you could still get strong to intense tornado ratings out of like barns and outhouses is typically what's hit the most out there in North and South Dakota. 2 silos were ripped out, and a home had its basement exposed. Well, geez. So, a fully slabbed house. Gracious. Do you know if there was anybody home or any injuries with that? Like I said, I wasn't really on much yesterday. Most of the stuff I saw was an hour, 2 hours after the tornado fully happened. I was able to tweet a few times about radar imagery, but I wasn't able to watch a bunch of footage until later in the night. Wow. Sprained ankle. Man, if that's it, just a sprained ankle from a fully slabbed house, I mean, that's still a minor injury, but a slabbed house, man, it could have been way worse. So no deaths reported, but you did have that one minor injury. And yeah, that's probably one of the reasons why there wasn't any deaths with that storm. Not only because the tornado didn't hit too many homes, it definitely impacted a house or two, as you just said there. But the warnings on it were really, really good. Like, the National Weather Service out there had lead times as high as 40 minutes for some areas. So Like, the lead time on the tornado warnings yesterday were just insanely high. The National Weather Service did a great job out there. Like I said, I wasn't able to see any of the photos or anything, but I was watching radar. And the two main tornadoes that happened yesterday were near Clear Lake that I know of. Pretty sure it was near Clear Lake. So hopefully everybody's okay from those tornadoes yesterday. Like I said, if it's only one sprained ankle and their house got fully slabbed, I mean, could have been way, way worse. We still have a destructive severe out here, but these wind speeds have really died down. If you are in Springfield, you're probably good to go at this point. There's some light rain, but looks like most of the lightning strikes have moved off a county to your east. There's some lightning near Sparta still, some lightning north of Fairgrove, but it doesn't look like there's much around Springfield. Still be cautious if you're in Springfield, but it looks like you're pretty much good to go. And if there are any winds behind this is where the winds of, like I was saying before, 10 to 20 miles per hour, it would be like right in here. It would be right on that edge of heavy precipitation, stretching from near Fairgrove all the way back down to Fairview. The main wind gust, though, will stay in front of this. And you can see that outflow boundary looks like it's gotten a little bit more to the north. So I really don't see any tornado potential with this at the moment. We'll still watch near Seymour. That's like the only area to keep an eye on for any rotation. But velocity shows absolutely no rotation anywhere on this line at all. Thoughts on the MCS in Oklahoma, TRG? MCS tonight. Well, I missed the most important word there. I don't think it will be that bad. I think we could see gusts of 60 to possibly as high as 70 miles per hour, but there's quite the there should be quite the amount of lack in instability, because this line has moved very close to Kansas and Oklahoma, so that instability value should go down very quickly after dark. And when are storms expected to fire? Yeah, storms are expected to fire on that boundary around 11 o'clock. So I think there could be like a few storms inside that cluster that manages to produce 60 to 70 mile an hour winds, but I don't expect much tonight for Oklahoma or Kansas. I'm pretty surprised they introduced a 2% there. If we do have any tornadoes tonight, the best chance for that, I would say, is West Kansas with the MCS in northwest Kansas towards midnight, 1 a.m. Eastern time tonight. But even with that, again, I mean, you just have like barely any tornado ingredients. I would say the best chance for a tornado out of anywhere in the U.S. is going to be probably right around Goodland, around 1 a.m. Eastern. That's where I think is the best chance. We'll see what they do with these severes. This severe expires in 17 minutes. We still could be seeing 50 to 60 mile an hour wind gusts out of this, but I don't know if it's as high as 70 anymore. If we do have 70 mile an hour wind gusts, it would be on the far east side of that severe. It would be closer to Forsyth, Meriden Woods, that area. But this looks a whole lot weaker than what it looked like just 30 minutes ago. And I think it will continue to stay severe. Yeah, I think we'll still see this stay with 50 to 60 mile an hour wind gusts all the way until near or north of Little Rock late tonight, probably close to 11. Still another 3 to 4 hours. Let's see, we just got an MCD for these storms, I believe. Well, nope. What is that MCD for? It says Northeast Oklahoma. So that might be concerning redevelopment. Maybe that's concerning this mess up here near Wichita. I'll find out soon. I get the notification so early the graphics haven't even popped up. So I just get the words of it, but not actually the graphic on what it's concerning. Okay, that's concerning the whole area. Gotcha. That's concerning like the whole rest of this watch and a little bit more to the northwest. Yeah, so see that red? That red is the new MCD, goes all the way back up to Wichita. Thunderstorm cluster associated with a cool pool will continue to spread southeastward towards the northwest Arkansas. An additional storm development is possible along the trailing outflow boundary into southeastern Kansas. A thunderstorm cluster has produced outflow winds greater than 60 miles per hour at and near Springfield, Missouri in the past half hour. Local radar... Oh, they said it twice. Local radar. They said it 2 times. Local radar suggests the continuation of severe storms going into north central Arkansas through southeastern Springfield, Missouri. These storms will likely be the strongest right near the border of these 2 cool pools. Let's see. This will continue till about 7 o'clock Eastern, so for the next 30 minutes or so. Weak vertical wind shear, so the cluster should tend to be more outflow dominant, with 50 to 60 mile-an-hour winds being the main threat. A downstream severe thunderstorm watch is possible into Arkansas, but uncertainty still remains on convective evolution. And then this is talking about, now this is into southeast Kansas, northeast Oklahoma. So not our MCS, but rather the outflow boundary that is out here towards Wichita, moving towards northeast Oklahoma. Some convection has attempted to strengthen and deepen along the edge of this cool pool, which is with a remnant MCV just near and north of Wichita, Kansas. Surface temperatures into the low 90s and dew points near or barely above 70 degrees Fahrenheit is supporting a high amount of instability. Severe storm development may occur in the next hour or so. Most of these storms should continue to be marginal, suggesting that a severe watch may be needed. But first, storms have to show a sign of intensification. So once these storms start to show more strengthening, once they start to get more severe, they may issue a severe watch. If they never go severe, there's not going to be a severe watch. So they're going to keep an eye on it. If storms can attach to that outflow boundary and move to the southeast, we will probably see a new severe watch issued for this general area in here. If not, and those storms never attach to the boundary, then probably not going to see much at all out here in Wichita or Oklahoma. From Wichita, Kansas, down through northeast Oklahoma all the way till about Tulsa. And then with these storms here in north central Arkansas, southeast Missouri, it seems like there is a lot of storms in front of this line, so that might be what's contributing to this this weakening we're seeing here. And if we do continue to see this line maintain near 50 to 70, around 50 to 70 mile-an-hour wind gust for the next hour or so, we could see a new severe watch in north central Arkansas, possibly a little extension in south central Missouri. Either way, if we do see any severe watches, they're going to be that, severe watches. They most likely won't be, I know they won't be tornado watches, I can tell you that. It will be severe watches, so mainly damaging winds and small hail. Again, the best chance for a tornado tonight. We do have that 2% out in Kansas, Oklahoma, Missouri, and even into Arkansas, but I just don't see anything happening out of that personally. You still remain weather aware. We could still see some gusty winds. Probably nothing near like what we had there in Springfield. It would probably be closer to, back out here in this area for those wind gusts. Definitely won't be anywhere near 90 miles per hour. We had gusts as high as 90 miles per hour northwest of Springfield about an hour and a half ago. So if you are in this area that I've circled here in white, we could see some wind gusts of 40 to 60 miles per hour if storms intensify. If they don't, it's just going to be a nice little drizzle for the next couple of hours as storms move from near Wichita down to the southeast. This 2%, again, I don't see much happening from this, but then again, models are still continuing to uptrend. So there is a chance we could see a tornado or two tonight, especially near midnight, 1 a.m. Eastern time, around and on the southwest side of that 2% tornado risk. I think that area has the best chance for tornadoes for today. Still continuing with this EDS severe, but I really don't see it being that much right now. I think we could see 60 mile an hour wind gusts across much of this area, but the only place where we're probably seeing up to 70 mile an hour wind gusts may be right in here. Could be a pocket of 70 mile an hour wind gusts right in this area. But we'll see. I mean, I don't really see a notable tornado risk, Capybara, but we could see a spin-up tornado. I could see a spin-up tornado happening there. It wouldn't surprise me. SPC sights down again. See, there's... Oh, there you go. There wasn't anything above my face cam, but now there is. Sirens continuing to sound. Let me go check. I mean, that's very weird why the sirens are still going. I could see why they did sirens 30 minutes ago for the storm moving through Springfield, because that had 80 mile an hour wind gust, but there's like barely anything near you anymore. All the lightning has moved way off to the east, so really you're good. I mean, there's still some heavy rain outside, but you're good. Very strange on why the sirens are sounding out there. Like I said, I could see why they sounded them 30 minutes ago for a 80 mile an hour severe, but you're in no warning right now. You're in a severe watch, but this is it for the night. I mean, Springfield won't see anything severe for the rest of the night, because this line has wiped out all the instability. It's such a strong line, and it has such a good outflow boundary, it's just wiped out all the Cape. So you could still see rain for the next couple hours, but anything like 60 mile an hour winds or anything like that, no. Rain is still in the forecast to stick around for the next few hours. And even into tomorrow morning, too. Is Omaha getting hit tonight? Omaha up here in Nebraska. I believe you're in the risk for an isolated storm. Yeah, so you're in between, or actually you're barely outside of that level 2 out of 5 slight. So you're in between our two main risks for today. I agree with that. I don't think you'll see too much. It looks like our main storms will stay off to your northeast, and there will be some other main storms late tonight that will stay off to your southwest out in here. So I don't think you'll see much. It's literally going to be right in between Omaha. Storms to the north and storms well to the south. You know, the more I look at it, the more I'm starting to think that this MCS is going to be a lot worse tonight than what models are depicting and what I'm thinking. You know, originally, I wasn't thinking it would be anything tonight across Kansas or Nebraska, but I don't know. To me, it looks like we could be setting up for a long-lived MCS. So just be weather aware if you are in here. I'll give you a good circle. Be weather aware tonight in this area here. It looks like we're seeing some uptrends. I think much of that is in the slight risk. Yeah, look at that. Look at that. I didn't go outside the slight risk borders right there. Barely didn't go outside the slight risk borders. That's going to be an area where I'm going to watch into the overnight hours, at least as long as I stay up. Keep an eye on that region just for the potential of a long-lived line of 60 to 80 mile-an-hour winds moving from west to east, beginning near midnight Eastern time on the border of Kansas, Colorado, and then it should weaken. It should weaken west of Kansas City, close to the Topeka area, by the time we get to 5 a.m., 6 a.m., very early tomorrow morning. Thank you for the $2 sticker. I appreciate that, Cynthia. Thank you for the $2 donation. Also, welcome to the stream, Catman. Glad to see you in here. Mesoanalysis has 8.5 thousand instability pretty much over your house out there in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Man, I can't get it anymore, but I had an 8,500 pinpoint sounding like right over Tulsa. I should have screenshotted it. I would take a good guess and say that's probably a bug or something on mesoanalysis. I don't think Cape is that high. Don't know why it says it's that high. Okay, they did continue a 60 mile/hour severe. That's a good choice there. Just to put it as a severe storm, just in case we see any wind gusts around that, that tag. So we could see up to about 60 mile/hour winds around from Omaha, Harrison, all the way back towards Mountain Home and Norfolk there in north central Arkansas. I don't know if it's going to warrant a severe thunderstorm watch. We're seeing a lot of overconvection. This is really, really good. That was not anticipated. So the fact we're seeing all that overconvection might help to destroy this line of storms much quicker than what I was thinking. I think it's still going to make it to Little Rock or around Little Rock, but I doubt it's going to be severe that far. All this overconvection is going to contribute to a lot more disorganized of a cluster / MCS. So if you are in north central Arkansas or in central Arkansas, this is a really good sign. The fact that we're seeing a lot of overconvection east of Springfield and also seeing weakening with our line going towards Bentonville and Springdale, northwest Arkansas there. They did issue a special weather statement for 55 mile/hour wind gusts. So that is only 3 miles per hour shy of a severe storm. So you need to be away from doors and windows if you are in this bit difficult to see blue box. Make sure you're away from doors and windows there, as this slightly, very close to severe. It is a very strong to almost severe storm that is going to be moving through this area today. Specifically over the next half hour, next 30 minutes or so. Yes, I did, Proxy. I saw a lot of videos of it last night and into this morning, and I watched the whole thing on radar. Well, I was turning on and off my phone every couple minutes. But yeah, I saw it. It's just I was too busy to be able to live stream. I've rewatched the chaser feeds. I went on one of the chaser feeds for a bit when it was doing that weird dance. The tornado was literally dancing yesterday in South Dakota. I went on my phone and I watched that for a little bit, but I couldn't watch it too long. But I watched it for like 3 minutes. And then this morning I went through all the replays of chasers to see it. And then I saw Reed Timmer backed into Connor. I also saw all the chasers ignoring police cars, passing by police with their lights on. Also saw that too. Definitely some pretty reckless drivers and chasers that I saw yesterday. I went back on their feeds and I saw it. I was like, man, why isn't there a whole Twitter debate about this? I don't know if Connor got any good damage to his what is it? Where was he hit? I think it was his bumper, his front bumper. I saw him kick up a lot of dirt, but I couldn't see if he had any damage. I saw it from another chaser's point of view. Did you see the pics of the damage? I did see the ground scouring already. That is insane. The ground scouring is insane. And I did see the slabbed house. I did see the slabbed home with the basement exposed. I saw those two things. Yeah, it is sub-severe now. So this went from, actually, it is still warned for 80-mile-an-hour winds, but here's the thing. Your line has moved out of that severe. Like, that's where we're seeing the main wind gust of, I can't say exactly how high it is. I would say probably near 30 miles per hour, but it could be locally higher than that. And your severe storm is back here for 80-mile-an-hour winds, so that severe should be either canceled. I'd be pretty surprised if they just let it expire in 13 minutes. I feel like they should just cancel that because the storms have moved out of the warned area. And they did not issue a new severe yet. This overconvection has literally destroyed our MCS completely. All that overconvection has destroyed our MCS. So we're probably not going to get a severe watch into Arkansas. It looks like this is going to die out way quicker than I thought. I thought it was going to be able to stay severe for the next, like, 3 hours. Yeah, this overconvection has completely demolished it. So, awesome news for those in Arkansas. Still going to watch this area in here as it moves to the southeast. I still think this could produce 60-mile-an-hour winds as it moves off to the southeast, so we'll still keep an eye on that. Yeah, it was a fully slabbed house. I'm not saying it will be rated, but if it does get rated EF3, I'm pretty sure it will be the first EF3 tornado since 2022 for late June in South Dakota. Actually, I have let me pull up the statistics. I literally have it right here. Give me a moment. Yep. First EF3, if it gets rated. First EF3 since May of 2022 in South Dakota. If it gets rated EF4, if it gets rated EF4, it will be the first in the last 11 years for South Dakota. If it gets rated EF2, I'm not too sure. I don't have that pulled up. I only have EF3, EF4. So we'll see what the SPC, or rather the local National Weather Service, says when they go and survey that damage. But the ground scouring itself was, that definitely was an indication of a violent tornado. Let me go get I'm going to go see another. There was a drone shot of it. Yeah, I mean, the ground scouring was definitely violent. So it definitely was, a violent tornado for sure, with winds over 160 miles per hour. Well over. We'll see with the NWS rates though. Just based on ground scouring, typically that type of ground scouring is 160 plus, which is high in DF3 plus. But of course, the main thing they rated off of is, dude, that ground scouring is insane. I did not see that one. Holy moly. Jeez. That is some of the most intense ground scouring this year, dude. Definitely was violent. So, like I said, the rating though, that'll be determined by the NWS just based off of the ground scouring. That it was definitely a violent tornado, winds over 170 miles per hour. But however, they're going to base it off of mainly probably that tree damage and the slabbed house. Those are probably going to be the two main indicators for what our tornado from yesterday gets rated. I don't know how ground scouring is incorporated into the EF scale. I want to say it's not incorporated that much. I mean, I know there's been some, wind ratings off of it, but I'll have to do some research on that. I haven't done a lot of research on that, so I couldn't really tell you on if they're gonna, how they're gonna rate that ground scouring. I remember at least one instance of it being rated. Let's see. Oh yeah, it was the ground was being lifted up by a tornado, and that's what gave a tornado like an EF4 or EF5 rating. I think that was like over a decade ago. But yeah, it seems like ground scouring doesn't get rated. I don't believe it gets rated. There's too many variables. Way too many variables of the ground being hit by flying objects or being just too many variables as a whole. But I'm pretty sure I've seen it rated at least once before. I remember looking at damage of ground scouring and the ground was fully, it was like ripped up. It was fully ripped up to where even like you could see the red dirt under it. It was a field, and then it ripped through all the grass, ripped up the soil, and it left like a trench pretty much. These past days have been crazy. Very crazy. Very, very crazy. This month has been ridiculous. But yeah, that ground scouring, again, violent ground scouring, 170 plus mile per hour winds, but the NWS doesn't rate based off of that, so the main indicators for that is definitely for sure going to be that slabbed house and the tree damage. I also want to note there's a good time to discuss like the EF rating and stuff like that with a tornado's intensity. And just a reminder, please discuss that after the tornado and after search and rescue. Don't go into like, chasers chats and start typing EF4, EF5, or EF3, or violent tornado, EF4 plus, whilst the tornado is ongoing. The main focus when a tornado is ongoing is to alert everybody about that tornado and then immediately do search and rescue. And then the few days, after the tornado, the rating. That's how you do it. You don't discuss the rating during the tornado. I bring that up because I see it in a lot of people's chats, where the only thing people care about is screaming EF4 or EF5. So that's, so that's back to severe again over there over Green Forest. For 60 mile-an-hour winds, they did just issue that severe. Was recently warned for 70 mile-an-hour winds, then got fully downgraded to 55 for a special weather statement, and now they've issued a new severe for 60 mile-an-hour winds. Oh, look at that. They just issued a little tiny severe to fill that gap. Just barely filled it right there. So it is still severe. Just be away from doors and windows if you are in front of this line as it moves to the south. I don't think we're going to see a severe watch downstream because it's only isolated severes. And it doesn't seem like this is intensifying much. It just seems like it's continuing to weaken. It went from 80 to 70, and then in one portion down to 55, and then in another portion of the line down to 60. So it seems like it's weakening. Now, if it goes back up to 70 mile-an-hour wind gusts, that might be a little bit of a eyebrow raiser to possibly issue a severe watch downstream. So just keep an eye on that. If you're in north central Arkansas, we'll continue to see an isolated severe or two for the next hour or two. But I don't expect it to get it all the way down to Little Rock being severe that whole time. Seems like that overconvection is really, really hurt our line overall. And we'll still need to watch for any additional development around our boundary, outflow boundary set up all the way from about Wichita all the way back down to north of Tulsa to see if that tries to fire any additional convection later on today. I don't expect much to come out of that, but shoot, you never know. It's Oklahoma. You never know, man. Things happen all the time when it's summertime and in Oklahoma mixed with 6,000 instability. Yeah, you're probably gonna get a bit of a surprise. So wouldn't be surprised if we see a supercell or two out there with some hail, some gusty winds, and maybe a weak tornado. I apologize, I just got distracted. I just realized we're only 60 subscribers from 10,000. It took me a second. I was like, am I that close now? Yeah. We're only 60 subscribers away from 10,000 subs. We are very close. And the new HRRR has this weakening here in about an hour or so. And it does have a convection firing out here off the outflow boundary on the like the border here of Kansas and Oklahoma. It has storms firing up right around Arkansas City, south central, southeastern Kansas. Some firing up near like Pond Creek. Those storms should get going in about an hour or so. What are you going to do for 10K? Probably a lot of stuff. We're probably going to just do we're probably going to do a late stream and end up streaming for a while. Like, start streaming a severe event and then move it into a gaming stream or something on the main channel. Or do something like that. I'll have to plan it a bit more in advance. I can tell you it's not going to be like probably not the day we hit 10,000. It's going to be planned a little later after that. I don't see much of a CU field over there. Hey, Catman. Do you know what a CU field is? Because I literally see a CU field developing right here. I just pulled up high resolution satellite and I literally see. Matter of fact, there's actually bubblers going up over here. There's actually bubblers going up. I wouldn't be surprised if that is a storm either. Let's see, do I have echo tops here? I don't know if they've updated recently. It looks like they're firing right now to me. So I think we are going to see storms out here. I don't think the cells further west. I don't think these towards like Ashland, Buffalo. That's Ashland, Kansas, Buffalo, Oklahoma. I don't think those are going to be like severe storms. I think if we see severe storms, it's going to be on the boundary. Right on that boundary. We have a little instability access / outflow boundary. And I think that's going to be where the storms will have the best chance of being severe. And that will probably set up like right in here. I know what a CU field is. It just looked that good. Well, I mean, it doesn't look that good in my opinion, but I mean, if you think it looks good, I still think it's a good hour and a half from initiating. But it's getting there. It's getting there. We'll keep an eye on some of these velocities to see. Try to see our best if it is intensifying or not. It doesn't look that good. No, that's not what you said just a second ago. It's not what you said just a second ago there, Catman. As for the next live stream, there's not going to be a lot to talk about tomorrow. And it looks like our hurricane in the Eastern Pacific is probably going to form very late tomorrow night. So I'm kind of 50-50 on a live stream tomorrow. We'll just see. We'll see. I know, Pete. I know what he meant to say. 50-50 on if we'll be live tomorrow. I'm waiting for Lucky to get in here. He said, where's my phone? I'm going to call him. I'll call him on Discord first. He said he'll be in here 35 minutes ago. This guy was supposed to be in here. I'm waiting to talk Tropics just for him. I'm about to call him on his phone. He gonna get mad at me. See if over Tulsa looks better. Yeah, there's the little band. I see that little band you're talking about. There's like a little band. I think it is literally like almost right over Tulsa. I see that. None of it looks great, but there is some CU trying to fire. I'll text him first, and if he doesn't respond within like 7 minutes, I'm gonna call him. And he's probably gonna get mad at me. He's probably asleep. You know that? I bet he is asleep. I'm partially joking, but then again, I'm actually not because he is probably actually asleep. But yeah, there is new severes now out here in north central Arkansas. They are still all at 60-mile-an-hour winds. So we're going to continue to watch them as they move off to the southeast and see how things progress. So just be indoors, away from doors and windows. There's a lot of lightning with these storms still as they move off to the southeast. None of them are significant severes. They are all ordinary 60-mile-an-hour severes, which means just be away from doors and windows. Don't go outside, and you will be perfectly fine. So yeah, we'll see what happens. I'll get into the tropics here in just a little bit. I'm gonna give Lucky like 5 more minutes to respond. I'll try to call him, and if he doesn't pick up on that, we'll just move fully into tropics. Let's see. Any weather today in southwest Wisconsin? Um, I'm surprised you haven't heard of it yet. I mean, there's a bunch of storms all around southwestern Wisconsin. A lot of it has been sub-severe. We've had a few severes for 60-mile-an-hour winds out here, but much of it has been sub-severe. So depends on exactly where in southwest Wisconsin. It seems like a lot of these are very, very scattered thunderstorms. If you get hit by one, it's going to be very heavy rain, some gusty winds, maybe some very small hail. And then seems like some people may not get hit by these severe storms and will probably end up with near nothing. So very hit or miss storms. Wind threat, the main threat will be about 30-mile-an-hour winds. It looks like the main event is already done out here. The main event was probably about 4 o'clock. Just about an hour and a half before we went live. So just be weather aware. A lot of lightning, heavy rain, some very small hail, some weak gusty winds as high as like 40 miles per hour, 30 miles per hour will be possible, but nothing that I'm expecting will be noteworthy to cover and stay live for. Sherman Proxy, I'm going to see it in theaters probably around either on the 3rd or on the 5th. One or the other. One or the other. We'll just see which day we can squeeze it in. I'm gonna call this dude's phone. I'm gonna wake him up from his deep sleep. Literally, so he told me, I said, do you want to join stream around 6 o'clock? He said, yeah, I'll join around 6. 6 o'clock rolls around. Are you going to join? Nah, I'll join at 6:30. 6:30 rolls around. Hello, Lucky, you there? Nothing. He's asleep. This is what he does. Yeah, no, I'm not going to go see it on July 4th. We're going to go to a few counties over where there's a huge fireworks show. We went like 3 years ago, and it was awesome. And they're having an even bigger one this year, so we're going to go to that. Last year, we didn't go to any fireworks shows. We did backyard stuff. I'm like, never again, bro. Shoot. I'll pay to go see some fireworks. Pay for the whole family to see some fireworks, man. I ain't doing no backyard little sprinklers again. July 4th is when? July 4th? Like, hello? July 4th is the 4th of July. It's Friday. This upcoming Friday. No, but our backyard one was like, it was still good. It's just there's a city county over that literally does a full city. Like, they light so many fireworks on a bridge, and I mean, it's just the best fireworks show I've seen. It's nowhere near like New York City, but I mean, it's the best one around here. Definitely the best one I've been to, and I've been to like, I don't know, 13 of them. We've tried like 7 different places. Man, I'm sure it's a blast. If you can afford it, backyard fireworks are the best. Like, if you can go big, yeah, it's better than any show. But man, them things get expensive. They ain't cheap, man. After the first one, you're like, okay, it's not too bad. Second purchase, okay, now I'm already up to $40. And the third one, and you're like, okay, now we're already breaking 100. See if he picks up. Nope. He's asleep. He's totally asleep. Hold on. Nope, he's asleep. I can't believe this dude. Alright, we'll dive into Tropics without him. I tried to wait. Let's see. Downstream watch may be required into northwestern Kansas. Let's see. 4 to 5 long-lived updrafts in southwestern South Dakota. So a downstream watch may be needed even further into Nebraska. I think I said Kansas. I meant Nebraska. Yeah, these are 2 big hailers. Dude, big hail core right there. Big hail core. That's going towards just east of Pine Ridge, southwest South Dakota. Might be seeing some intensification of our line here, so we'll just monitor that. Still 60-mile-an-hour winds across the board, across this storm. So let's go ahead and drive on. Drive? Yeah, let's drive on. Let's drive on. We'll just stick with it. Let's drive on into our tropical activity. To say dive. Oh, man. I guess we're driving onto it, too. So here is your National Hurricane Center outlook. So we have Tropical Storm Barry in the far southwest Gulf with a AOI that has been introduced across the Florida Peninsula all the way back up into nearly the Carolinas, also just off the coastline, just barely southeast of Alabama. I think this has a really good chance at being a tropical depression if it can stay off of land. There's some questions on exactly where it's going to track. If it tracks west of the Florida Peninsula, I think it has a very good chance of being a tropical depression or tropical storm. If it tracks east of Florida, I think it has a chance to be a very short-lived tropical depression. If it tracks on land, it's cooked and it's not going to do anything. So we'll just keep an eye on that over the next few days. The best chance for that to develop is likely from July 3rd or so. From about the 3rd of July all the way till about the 6th of July is the best chance to see that develop. Tropical Storm Barry is, at this moment, nearing landfall. It should be very close to landfall. It was expected to make landfall about 7 o'clock Eastern time, so this may have made landfall right now. We'll check satellite in a second. But it's currently sustained 40-mile-per-hour wind gusts there, moving to the north-northwest. It is actually up to 45-mile-an-hour wind gusts. They did a new advisory at 5 o'clock. I guess I didn't see that. But it's up to 45-mile-an-hour wind gusts, maximum sustained winds. Movement is at north-northwest at 9 miles per hour. The millibar pressure on it, let's see, the pressure is 1,006, so it is a mid-tier, mainly for winds. The wind speeds is a mid-tier tropical storm. The pressure is definitely a little bit up there. 1,006, that's not a low pressure by any means, and again, it's expected to make landfall on Mexico at any given moment over the next couple minutes to an hour, maybe an hour and a half. We'll see on satellite in just a moment. Rain impacts are expected to continue for the next 2 to 3 days, with the potential for rainfall amounts as high as 8 to locally slightly greater than 8 inches being possible there, up to actually 10 inches of rain in that orange shaded area. So that's your second named storm of the season. And tropical storm warnings are in effect across the coastline of eastern Mexico there for tropical storm impacts. Also going over to the eastern Pacific, we have another AOI just under and over top of Flossie. Flossie in the far eastern East Pacific here. Currently a bit weak for the wind speeds. It's a weak tropical storm, 40 miles per hour. Millibar is actually lower than the one there in the Gulf. This one is 1,005 millibar, and it is expected to become a hurricane likely late tomorrow night. Tropical storm watches are up for southwest Mexico. I don't expect that we will see land impacts directly from this system, but the outer bands, moderate to heavy rainfall, some very isolated flash flooding, some isolated 30-mile-an-hour wind gusts should be possible along the coastlines of southwest Mexico, and then probably going into the peninsula of Baja California. Could see some gusty winds on the tip there towards Thursday afternoon. Might end up seeing some watches issued for that over the next 48 hours or so. And again, it is expected to become a hurricane tomorrow night. It might make a run for a major hurricane. It would not surprise me if it makes a run for a major hurricane. Let's go ahead and look at our satellite imagery here. I haven't seen either one of these satellite imageries in the last 2 hours or so, so we're going to see what it looks like together. All right, so there's Tropical Storm Barry. And man, it just looks like some rain in the Gulf. I mean, it really doesn't look like tropical much of anything. Barely able to spot a low pressure. Might be spotting some. I think I might be able to see the low pressure, maybe some LLCs there, right in here. I think your low might be like right on the coastline. It looks like it's almost on the coastline there. It's a very, very lower level cloud cover that you can see there. That might be where your low is. Do we have recon in here? Nope, they finished. But very, very disorganized Tropical Storm Barry there. 45-mile-an-hour winds sustained, apparently. Let's look at our Tropical Storm. I just want to make sure. Flossie. Okay, I'm right. Tropical Storm Flossie here. Way more organized spin. You can very, very clearly see. Very clearly can see a very large concentrated area of spin. Very well-defined low pressure. Really, really well-organized tropical storm there. Apparently weaker than what Barry is in the Gulf there. This is, in my opinion, this is really beginning to intensify. I think tomorrow it should explode quite quickly into a hurricane. Maybe tomorrow evening. I honestly would not be shocked if it becomes a hurricane as early as the 5 o'clock update tomorrow afternoon / into the evening hours. It would not surprise me. Just that is a really good look for a tropical storm. That is a really good look for a tropical storm. Now, the convection isn't too deep. It's not very cool, so it's not really intense convection there. That's likely why the wind speeds are a bit on the lower side, because you don't have a lot of intense, cooler thunderstorms across this area. So we'll continue to keep an eye on that. And it will probably become in my opinion, it's going to become a hurricane tomorrow night. And I think it could even become a hurricane as early as the 5 o'clock update tomorrow afternoon into the evening. Let's look at some model runs for that AOI there in Florida. We're going to go to the 700 vorticity here on the GFS. This is what I love to use to try to spot quick tropical storms. And you can see this vorticity blob. That's what we like to call it for tropics, is vorticity blob. That is located over land, Georgia, Florida, even into Alabama. Just a vorticity blob there going into Thursday, the day before July 4th. And GFS wants it to barely get off the coastline of Florida, and it really doesn't do anything. The GFS puts it into the Carolinas as, at worst, a tropical rainstorm. We'll go with what AccuWeather likes to say. A tropical rainstorm going into South Carolina, North Carolina. A little bit of rain for y'all if this scenario were to unfold. But really doesn't do anything notable. No tropical depression, no tropical storm. It probably wouldn't have much winds with it. So not much in the wake of anything significant. Here's the Canadian model run on Tuesday, significantly sooner. You can see a much larger blob of vorticity all across the southeastern U.S., and the main blob should be right across here in the far northeastern Gulf as we go through July 2nd on this model run. And you'll see that actually pushes over Florida, back south of the Carolinas, and it doesn't spin up until it gets just east of North Carolina and possibly becomes a subtropical rainstorm. It wouldn't be probably wouldn't be a tropical depression or a tropical storm or anything like that. It would just be some rain, maybe a little bit more organized in the GFS there, this time off the coastline of the Carolinas. European model run, let's see what that does here Tuesday, July 1st. Not much at all. No good vorticity blobs there. Second into the third. A little bit better vorticity there at the far northeastern Gulf, just off the coastline of Florida. A little bit better. That actually puts it into more of the Gulf, and then another area, possibly two areas spin off of this here. Let's see. It looks like, yeah, that is definitely two areas. Let me go down a little bit. Definitely two vorticity blobs, one in the central Gulf, and then a better one off the coastline of Florida on July 6th. It's the morning into the afternoon of the 6th of July here. And still doesn't develop anything. So overall, I don't see it becoming a tropical storm. Like I said, a weak, brief, short-lived tropical depression could occur if this manages to stay off the coastline of land, whether that be off the coastline of Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina. I think it has an opportunity to produce a tropical depression that's very short-lived. Either way, impacts will likely be minimal. We probably won't see much in the wake of flooding or damaging winds or anything like that. I think we'll see some rain over Florida, Georgia, maybe into the Carolinas. Probably some gusty winds, but nothing that will be like significant. No tropical storm or anything like that. So it's an area to watch. You want to keep an eye on it, and we'll see how things shift around over the next couple of days, and we'll just see which way things trend here. If we trend maybe a little bit more aggressive towards possibly closer to a tropical depression, or if we continue with this trend of, yeah, probably not going to do anything. And really, that's the only area to watch over the next couple weeks. There's no signals for all the way till mid-July. I do think towards the latter half of July, we have a chance for a tropical system to form out there in the main development region. I'll tell you why here. Also, it does look like that violent tornado in South Dakota yesterday was officially rated at 150 mile per hour winds EF3. So that is the first EF3 in over 3 years for South Dakota. So that was indeed an intense tornado. Likely the reason why that wasn't a high rating, again, they don't count ground scouring, which was the most intense damage, was that ground scouring being likely exceeding 170 mile per hour wind speeds. It looks like they probably got 150 mile an hour winds mid-tier EF3, probably off of that slabbed house. And likely that house wasn't very well constructed. And probably wasn't anchored very well for that. That's a pretty, a slabbed house, 150 mile an hour winds. That is a little on the low side for a fully slabbed house. That is definitely on the lower side of things. But yeah, that was the rating for our tornado yesterday in South Dakota. Yeah, that's what I was wanting to do. I was wanting to go check back out here. I want to give you a broad overview of the tropics here. And this is very favorable. Let me just say this. If this continues into August, September, October, we are going to see a very active tropical season. This is a very good setup. This is looking towards the middle of July, like July 9th. Probably after that is when we'll see tropical development. So this is all the way towards like July 15th. That's probably when the chances will increase. This is really good. If you have a high pressure, we call it the Bermuda high, that is a really good high pressure, and just the steering current that it has here. So it's steering like this and then back out like this. That is going to lead your tropical path, your most likely case tropical path here. Let me zoom out for you so you can see it. If we were to see something form in July, your most likely case would be a spin up here near, I believe this is near Cape Verde, I want to say. That might be completely wrong. You know, we're going to go look at it. I should have just looked at it before I said something. Oh, wow. Good memory, man. Good memory. That's a first. That is a first. Also, new significant severe out here for Summersville in South Central Missouri. Man, it's been like 8 months since I said that name. So that's, yeah, it would be probably forming in the main development region near Cape Verde, and its track would be right into the Caribbean and then into the Gulf. That would be your most likely case track. It would be between here and here. That would be your most likely case track. So it could track anywhere from, where it starts Cape Verde through the Lesser Antilles all the way up into the Gulf. And that, like I said, that's a very good pattern for tropical development. Very, very good. So do we keep that as we go into August and September into October? Who knows? We'll have to see. But this is very favorable for in mid-July into late July. This should be favorable for the potential of a few spin-up tropical storms in the main development region. Whether or not they track into the Gulf, it's going to depend mainly off of wind shear and where the Bermuda High is located at that specific time. I wouldn't be worried about anything tracking into, the U.S. anytime soon. But just pointing out, we have a favorable background pattern for brief tropical activity in the main development region towards the middle and latter half of July. And if things overlap, that high pressure is in a good spot, we don't have a lot of wind shear, we could see a tropical storm track near the Lesser Antilles and into the Caribbean around mid and late July. But right now, there's no big signs for that. It's very, very far out. But just to give you an early heads up, again, this is the main area I would be watching. Notice how I don't highlight anything over here because we're probably going to have wind shear issues. So that would be the main area to watch in mid and late July. That is where I would be keeping an eye on. I don't know if the CPC has highlighted anything. No, they have not highlighted anything yet. Their outlook goes till July 15th. So we'll see. Their next update is, July 2nd is their next update. So we're quite a ways away from that. They probably just updated this a day or two ago. Actually, 5 days ago was their last update. Yeah, that's a while ago update. So we'll see if they highlight anything towards the middle and latter half of July once that update comes on July 2nd. Wouldn't be surprised if they give a good 20% probability for tropical activity out there in the main development region into the Eastern Caribbean. So just going to monitor that. Don't panic. Don't think, oh, major hurricane, crazy hurricane, hundreds of tropical storms. No, it's not going to be something like that. I'm thinking 1 or 2 tropical storms could spin up and possibly head towards the Lesser Antilles. Whether or not it stays well defined and well organized till then, again, we're going to have to figure out with the background pattern at that time. So I don't want you guys to be concerned or worried about it. Just know I'm watching it. And now Lucky decides to text. Now Lucky decides to text. Now that I just finished with the tropical update, now he decides to shoot me a message. This dude. He said, "My bad, bro. Are you still streaming?" That's what he said. That's crazy. Don't worry, Lucky. You're only... He's exactly an hour late. He's exactly an hour late. That's if he calls me. Was he asleep? Well, I would say we're about to find out, but honestly, we're probably getting close to closing out the stream, so I'll give him a couple more minutes to tune in. But if you guys haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button with the notification bell set to all. Make sure you hit that like button. Thank you for hitting the like goal of over 100 likes. And help us get to 10,000 subscribers. We've gained like 20 subscribers today, so I really, really appreciate it. We've gained over 20 subscribers today, so I appreciate all of you guys for tuning in. We're going to go for a little bit longer. Yep, he went to sleep. He took a nap. He took a nap. There you go. Dude. So... let me see if he wants to say bye. See if he wants to say a hi and a bye. I do hope to do a gaming stream, whether it be on this channel or probably on the gaming channel. I want to play Outbreak again. Outbreak is coming out with a big update on July 1st. I think it's 0.30. So 0.3. The 0.3 update. And it looks really good. They're going to revise a lot of things, redo the graphics in some fields, and improve performance. So I'm probably going to play it off of stream here shortly. I'll probably give it another try, maybe with Lucky, and then hopefully we'll be able to stream it either for 10,000 subscribers. That might be something we do on this channel, or just a normal gaming live stream on our gaming channel. I've been slacking on the gaming channel. I've been very busy, though, recently. I've been really, really busy the last 2 days, and I'm going to be probably busy tomorrow, but I still give it a chance for a live stream tomorrow. It's not like last night. Yesterday, I did a lot of stuff. I did a lot yesterday. So I wasn't able to stream at all. I'll probably play it tonight off of stream, but if I do live stream for gaming on that, it would probably be July 1st or July 2nd. Oh, definitely can't be July 2nd. It would have to be the day that comes out. It would have to be July 1st, or I'm not going to do it. So, we'll see. Good morning, Lucky.
Good morning.
All right, go and do the outro.
All right, guys. If you did enjoy today's stream, please like and subscribe to the post notification bell on so you do get notified when charity goes live or makes a video. Please share the channel with your friends and family. Let us help get the word out to people. Let them know what. Whoa.
Yeah, a little bit stalling because of that nap, huh?
No, I went to the stream and my audio started playing. I could hear myself. But yeah. Yeah. So we can let them know what weather's coming their way. Please join the Discord server. It's a very fun server, a lot of cool members, a lot of active members. So you'll always have someone to talk to. And if you ever want to talk to me and TRG outside stream, that is the best place to do so.
I'll have you know I was only
Yeah.
supposed to do a 1-hour live stream today, but because I wanted you to talk about the tropics, I did another hour, and you still barely made it. I didn't talk about the tropics until the last 20 minutes of the live stream. I waited that whole time, bro. Dude was sleeping.
Dude.
I waited an hour and 40 minutes to talk tropics. Because I was hoping you would make it, but you didn't. But oh well. Thank you, mods, for mod chat. Thank you everyone for being here. I appreciate the support. We're almost just 50 subscribers away from 10,000 subscribers, which is crazy. So I'll see you guys possibly in tomorrow's live stream. If not, I'll just see you guys in the next live stream or video that I do. Have a great rest of your night. Stay safe. Watch for your weather. Say bye, Lucky.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Quack. See you later, brothers. Quack.
Stay safe, watch for your weather, and I'll see you guys in the next live stream or video that I do. Thank you, mods, for mod chat. Have a great rest of your night. Good.